mean, I mean, there's so much things there, but to put into perspective, the whole Olympic Dam search was them saying, I think we're going to look for copper, and I think this area looks good. And that journey wasn't done in months or a few years. It was actually, if I'm not mistaken, it started in the 50s or 60s?
Yeah, that's right. It was a huge effort and a huge commitment to find copper because after the Second World War, everything was, industry was booming, the economies were getting back on their feet, and electrification was, was a thing then. It's a thing now, but it was a thing the first time around after World War II. And there hadn't been a lot of copper found in Australia really to that point, other than Mount Isa. I suspect I don't know the whole story of the inventory then, but in '57 they decided that they really needed some copper, to find some copper. And interestingly, that they chose that, and that was part of their thinking. And it goes to a lot of what they were culturally was, they wanted to find things to make a difference. They didn't want to find things to get rich. They wanted to be, rewarded and well off and do well, but there wasn't really
the
primary motivation. No, and it was like, what can we do? And indeed, Douglas Haines, likewise, he was it was his, personal commitment to find copper. He wanted to find copper because Australia needed it. So he went back to university, studied copper, studied an idea about like where does the copper come from in so many of the deposits that we know about. It was 15 years from the first copper project in Taraji River, way in the West Kimberleys, where interestingly explorers are back going to today, primarily for nickel. But Taraji River was unsuccessful. It was a huge effort to try and go to that part of the country in 1957, and Roy was personally, on the ground there doing it with his wife Barbara, I think, too. They tried and tried. They went to Moonta here in South Australia to try again there in the early 60s. They went to Warburton in the West Musgraves. I think that's correct. I know it's.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's technically Musgraves. Again, to find copper. None of these things were working out, and it was in the early 70s. Douglas Haines, who had been at Warburton and seen these fantastically rich but small veins of copper, started thinking, well, where's this coming from? And they had to invent their own science, really. That was why Douglas Haines went back to university, to prove that leaching of mafics was producing the source of copper. And just phenomenal sort of commitment to finding a unique idea, a competitive advantage, something that would help them find copper. Because they'd looked in all the places they could think of and weren't having any success.